Chris, you've been watching this obviously very, very closely. How bad is it in the United States? Is it as bad as 88, do you think?
Hi, Lindsay. Yeah, certainly. If you had to look at those reports, they're saying this is exceptionally serious. I think it goes. I've seen some reports saying it's going back to the 1950s. They haven't seen such a serious drought before.
Yeah, I think the latest report coming out of the United States Department of Agriculture, the USDA, says that only 31% of the US maize crop is rated as good to excellent. I know from bitter personal experience when I was long on the market and then it suddenly rained overnight and the market fell in a heap, that conditions can change quite quickly, but it has to be pretty quick in the US. And if I look at this chart, where did I put it here? Can't see it now, but anyway, I mean, it was only a matter of a week or so ago that the maize price in South Africa was around about 2,000 Rand a tonne. It's now 2,500. I don't know what it's doing this morning, but this is a serious move and has serious implications for us in South Africa.
Definitely, if you look at those price charts come 25th of June or so, end of June, we've moved from 2,000 Rand. Today we're on the spot month over 100 Rand up again. So we're getting very close to 2,700 Rand a tonne. A significant move in a short space of time for the South African players. Again, I think it's also just important to put into context, obviously the international benchmark US will have an influence in South Africa, as you can see coming through the numbers. But I think South Africa is also cautiously looking at our own crop and saying, is it going to be as big as the 11 million tonnes that the Crop Estimates Committee is forecasting? And yeah, that will just put some additional doubt in the guys trading the South African market as to how big our own supply is.
Yeah, well, let's have a look at that now. There's something that just come out. I'm reading from ShareNet. It says South African traders have slightly cut, Chris, it says here, their maize output forecast for 2012 to 11 million tonnes, down from 11.05 million tonnes. And prospects of a much higher maize crop than the 10.36 million tonnes reached in 2011 have largely been spoiled, it says, by spells of dry weather between January and April. I mean, give us an idea. If we do achieve 11 million tonnes, is that in the middle of, is that sort of an average over 10 years? Where does it put us?
Yeah, certainly it's slightly on the top end of the average. It's certainly enough for South Africa's own usage. But if you look at last year, there was an interesting anomaly where we managed to export just over 2.4 million tonnes of, that's white and yellow, for that production season. So I think what the market is never too sure of how much of the South African product is then booked for export. So if there is going to be a shortage in the US, there will be other players coming into the world market looking for corn or maize. And if South Africa is not kept in line, a lot of South African product could potentially go into that market. Obviously, also, South Africa is not just a player on its own. We are affected by regional, by international factors, and I guess our price is certainly keeping in line with that pressure from the US markets.
Yeah, it's an ill wind that blows nobody good, Chris. I mean, the maize farmers, it's not easy being a maize farmer. We know that from our own experiences, and the volatility of the commodity doesn't help that. But a maize price at 2,700, that must be pretty good for some of these farmers.
Lindsay, and yeah, I myself from a maize growing background and fully can sympathise with those US farmers, how they're under stress in terms of the drought. But if you look at the South African maize farmer, I honestly compliment them and how they've been able to adjust themselves to the free market. Yes, there's a lot of price volatility out there, and a number of farmers would have locked in prices of perhaps 1,800, 1,900 Rand earlier in the season when that was a fair margin. Obviously, the guys that haven't sold anything, yeah, they're looking at a really phenomenal maize price. But I think the important message at the end of the day is South African market has access to a derivative market, and we already see a lot of those farmers starting to look at July 13. So next year's maize price, which today was trading around 2,350 Rand. So they're looking at using options, put options, to secure a floor price and give them that assurance. So even though they haven't even looked at planting next year, they can really benefit from this unusually high price.
Chris, we'll have to leave it there, but thanks very much for your time this afternoon. That's Chris Sturgess, Director of Commodity Derivatives at the JSE, commenting on the maize price, which has shot up in a month from under 2,000 rand a tonne to its price today, at this moment, of around about 2,700 rand a tonne.